one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa. Boss forever like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
I'm coming. I promise you, on my life, I'm coming. From the first snap, man. From the first second. What are we gonna do, man? All back against the wall. All back is against the wall. I'm ready for whatever right now.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Saint. How's everybody doing out there? Listen. We got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about on this episode of Kicking It with Saint. Yo, we got a divisional round to talk about. We have a divisional round to talk about. But first, before we get into all of that, shout out to Gerard Mayo, man. That man is unapologetically black, and I love it, boy. Robert Kraft was asked about the importance of hiring, Gerard Mayo for this job, being the first African-American coach for the New England Patriots. And, Robert Kraft said the shit that I told y'all a lot of racist people say when they say, I don't see color. Not everybody who say that not racist, but it's just showing you how tone deaf certain people are. Not even just how tone deaf. It just shows you how certain people just got to view life. Because if you were privileged enough to walk through life talking about some I don't see race, then that's very sad. I'll put it to you like that. But Gerard Mayo's immediate response is, I do see race, because if you don't see race, then you don't see racism, or you can't sympathize, or you, and we know, bro, you got to go listen to the quote. I'm probably going to put the quote in here actually, but my goodness, what a shit could have brought a thug tear to my eye. It didn't, but it could have, I'm not opposed to it. Orchard Park is the name of the Buffalo Bills stadium or field. I really do wish Buffalo would build a fucking dome. I don't understand. I think I heard news that Buffalo was finna build another stadium, but it's not going to have a roof. Why? I don't understand, bro. I really don't understand. Why in God's name would you not put a like, bro? This, if I was a Buffalo fan, I'd be upset. But I know you psychotic Buffalo fans don't give a damn because you guys are truly psychotic. Jumping through tables and shit, like the shit I done seen y'all Buffalo fans do. Credit to you. Y'all don't get paid to do this shit or nothing. I saw a Buffalo fan make a sandwich, a steak sandwich or something like that the other day. That thing was hitting on all cylinders, son. That thing was hitting on all fucking cylinders, son. On me. That. So shout out to Buffalo fans, bro. I would never do that nonsense. I could never. Thank God Baltimore Raven fans base ain't on that nonsense, but yeah, y'all be wildin', man. But shout out to you, man. I guess that's, you know, and shoveling snow. Bro, I saw a dude digging through the snow with his bare hands. Lord Father, bless this man, bro. Jesus Christ. I would be seeing dudes with their shirts off in them Buffalo games. God almighty, God almighty. But listen. What's my man's name? The Falcons that interviewed Jim Harbaugh. The Falcons that interviewed him. I could see him getting that job before I see Belichick get. I just can't see right now Belichick getting the Falcons job, bro. Just for a multitude of reasons, but not no real coaching reasons. But you know, to me, Harbaugh would be a good hire for anybody. But I do believe that both of these coaches would prefer if they can't. If you don't have, if you don't believe Justin Herbert is not even necessarily as good as Lamar, Mahomes, Allen, if you don't think you can coach that team up or get Herbert to the part where he can play at least good enough in big games against these guys to get you where you need to go, then I just think it'd be smarter to take a job in the NFC, to be honest with you. But that's just my personal opinion. I think the Seattle job is I know people don't think that's a good job for the simple reason San Francisco and LA, but I actually think Seattle got a great roster. They made a great pick in the draft this year. Their first round pick ended up being great. I think they got a great receiving core. I think they have the talent on defense. They just ended up. I think sometimes you get into this position where coaching become archaic. Like I heard that the Saints, finally let go of a offensive coordinator who been here for 18 years. Bro, that explains why the Saints offense done looked as bad as it done look. Why it haven't evolved in years. But when I look at the divisionals, we got a lot to get into. We got so many. Look at the quarterbacks for the AFC. Obviously, I'm talking about the AFC. Obviously, I'm talking about the AFC. Oh, you know what? Before we get into that, my guy Gianni, he got no faith in my guy Jalen Hurts. Now, I'm approaching this understanding my bias for them Bama boys. And I fully support Jalen. I know you guys know that I love Jalen Hurts. But however, if you really been listening, I done said before, when Jalen Hurts was in at Bama, I felt like we lost a game. We lost a national title to Deshaun Watson because Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. And I know he won it on the game-winning drive. So technically he played a good game, but I just felt like we left points out there because Jalen Hurts at that point in time wasn't being developed to be a thrower of the football. He was a run-first quarterback. And so when he got to, was it Ohio? When he got to Oklahoma, he was starting to be developed to throw the ball more. And I think if he never had went to Oklahoma, I don't think Jalen Hurts would be as good as he is now. I think if he had stayed at Bama, because him being benched for Tua, to me, ended up being one of the key moments in his career of football altogether. Because if he is never benched in that game against Georgia, and if he is allowed to lose that game against Georgia at the time in the national championship game, then I think it just set up a bad precedent of we going to keep him, we going to stick with him, but we're not going to develop him. Because would he have come into that next season and tried to be a better passer? I mean, they would have lost 2 back-to-back championships off of the opposing quarterback being better passers of the football, especially with the Deshaun Watson one. That was just, they ripped up the defense of Alabama. The Georgia game was closer, but we couldn't do shit to him on offense until we got Tua in there. Now, him going to Oklahoma, he was dealing with, I think it was Lincoln Riley was his head coach at Oklahoma. I might be getting that wrong, but when he got to Oklahoma, that's when the passing side of Jalen Hurts really began to shine. Now, I think Jalen Hurts was dealing with injuries that he's not going to speak of, but I do believe they'll eventually come out. I think that Jalen Hurts is a phenomenal runner of the football. He done shown he is. I just think this year he have to be dealing with a serious injury that he is just not willing to talk about. Like, I would not be shocked if he end up getting surgery on something in the offseason. Because it is just I saw Jalen Hurts run out there the other night, and he ran like at 0.9 miles per hour on the round. I'm like, what the hell? There's something that's definitely wrong with Jalen Hurts. He done always been a great scrambler of the football. And I'm just going off of the history of Jalen Hurts. He's never been bad at scrambling. This year was his literal worst year, or his biggest struggle of his career at any level was this year when it come to scrambling. So I have to lean with, I take away his worst year, his best year. Over his lifetime, he done been a great scrambler of the football. Also, I understand the thought process of he didn't have A.J. Brown and look how bad he looked. However, I want people to remember something. A great quarterback can still be in a bad scheme, or other people get paid to do a job also. So I have to be fair with Jalen Hurts. Now, I'm not mad at you if you don't see it the way I see it, but let me tell you how I see it. I knew Lamar Jackson wasn't the problem. While I knew it was still things Lamar Jackson could have worked on and developed to become better like he is now, I knew Lamar Jackson had outgrown the Greg Roman scheme. Because when defenses schemed up the perfect scheme, Greg Roman couldn't, and Lamar couldn't be Superman. Greg Roman was never going to save him because he couldn't scheme open receivers. You see, I saw receivers running into each other, receivers sitting in the same area of the field. He never out-schemed a defense with the pass game. He could out-scheme everybody with the run game, but he could never out-scheme people with a pass game. I always said, if Lamar Jackson, he done outgrown Greg Roman, and if he end up getting the talent, and I always said I didn't necessarily always blame Greg Roman because he didn't have the talent at the receiving position. However, he also did not help the talent at the receiving position. When you look at Todd Monken, who I always said, if Lamar get a better offensive coordinator and better weapons, you will see how much better he will become. Because right now, he is relying on his talent to win games. When he can rely on other people at some point in time on a consistent basis, because he don't know what he getting on an everyday basis. And believe it or not, that's going to affect you. Now, Lamar Jackson is different. And that's how you know he was different, because the motherfucker went out there and won a unanimous MVP with Willie Snead and James Prochet and the boys, Devin Duvernay and the boys at the receiving position. That was the rookie year for Marquise Brown when he had a nail in his foot. He went out there and won unanimous MVP that year. So he just showed you how great he can be individually. However, to me, that unanimous MVP, that's not going to be better than this MVP right here. For one, I believe a Super Bowl going to be attached to this one with a Super Bowl MVP. So this MVP won't even matter when he get the Super Bowl MVP. However, I believe that Lamar Jackson is just a far more developed passer. But I knew he would become this, not even just passer, player. And I knew he would become this for the simple reason I understood what I was watching when it came to, I know he has his own flaws, but I can see how glaringly a problem it is with the talent around him. So I understand when people say Jalen Hurts, no A.J. Brown, because people will say, oh, Lamar didn't have. However, offensive coordinator, some of the problems when you don't understand how to scheme up all out blitz, Greg Roman was bad at scheming those up. Right now, if you go back and watch some of these games for the Eagles, the last couple games, but specifically this game, look at how many times they did not scheme up players to beat the all-out blitz. Jalen Hurts already hurt. He not moving good. You don't help your quarterback at all when you cannot scheme up the players. When I always say, when your best player can't put on the cape that day, what do you do to help him? Because you get paid too. And so when Lamar Jackson 9 times out of 10 was going to put the Superman cape on and get you a dub, maybe this is the 10th time where he couldn't do it. What do you do as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach, to help him win that game still? To me, when you look at the Eagles, the offensive coordinator didn't do much to help Jalen Hurts. And I can put it on the players also, but the offensive coordinator did not. And I understand Jalen Hurts did miss some throws, but like I said, in the game where you struggle, because you ain't always going to be perfect, what does the offensive coordinator do to help you? It, to me, was too many. This is why I said on the last episode, the Eagles rely on some of the most ridiculous shit that if you all at 100%, yeah, that shit can work. But when you're not at 100% and you don't run the basics the right way, then you run into problems. What team don't run quick slants or drags across the middle on all-out blitzes? What team don't have that basic type of concepts in their arsenal? The Eagles have the personnel to be able to run that. Yet they sending people on these dumbass posts, these long elongated slant routes. Some rarely do they, and I'm talking about when they run a slant, they run in with the outside dude, and it's the ridiculous, the post route, the outside post, the dumbass curl, like, and a lot of times they just rely on the athleticism. More times than not, they rely on the athleticism and the 50-50 balls of Jalen Hurts connecting with AJ or Devontae. It's some sick shit going on over there in Philly. Not to mention the run game is inconsistent. It's like I said about the Seahawks. What the fuck is going on with that offense? They have the talent. I understand, and this is on a different level because Geno Smith is not better than Jalen Hurts, but Geno Smith is a quality quarterback. However, when you look at the talent on that offensive side of the ball and you look at how inconsistent the offensive play calling is, and sometimes the play calling ain't even inconsistent. It's just straight up bad. And when you look at it, you like, man, I wonder what this team could be if they had a better offensive coordinator at the helm calling the plays. And then maybe you get a good enough offensive coordinator and you really see, is Geno good enough? Now, I don't think Geno. In the NFC, I judge it a little bit different. I think Geno could be good enough one year where, sure, he get the Seahawks to a Super Bowl. I think they would lose against the AFC team, but to me, the NFC is just not good enough right now. However, this is why I don't think Jalen Hurts is the problem. And while I don't look at Jalen Hurts like I look at Lamar, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, I do believe that Jalen Hurts is still one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC. Like, he's still, when you look at Jalen Hurts, I understand most of his success, people believe, came when he got A.J. Brown. I would argue that's when the numbers started to pile up, and that's when he started to even develop even more. That accelerated his growth. Because if you remember, Jalen Hurts got to the playoffs. He got the Eagles to the playoffs before he got A.J. Brown. Like, I understand A.J. Brown, getting A.J. Brown helped him develop even faster, and it helped his stats look better and all these other things. But he still was a good player his first year as a full starter. You know how hard it is to get your team to a playoffs in your first full year as a starter? He got to do that. Got him to the playoffs. And I understand he lost, but he lost to Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. So I prefer to wait and see. I definitely think he's better than Tua also. I think when you look at Jalen Hurts, this is not a quarterback who, when you take away his first read, he just don't make a play. Jalen Hurts for the last year and the year, while he's still in his rookie year, in the year that he not, because it wasn't his rookie year, it was the second year that he got him to the playoffs, but that was technically his rookie year because that was when he finally was a full-time starter. Or when you look at that season, and you look at last when they played good this year but they Super Bowl run last year, Jalen Hurts is not a one read quarterback. This is not an offense that's running the first read is open, predetermined. Like, this is not an offense that have a playbook where it's so great. The offensive coordinator is so great. You already know the first. No, this is an offense where Jalen Hurts still got to drop back and make plays. And I understand they do the RPOs and shit like that. But Jalen Hurts is still making decisions in the offense. Like, he is still breaking down a defense at times. This is not Tua where Tua immediately know who he throwing it to before he even hiked the ball. Jalen Hurts might have an idea of who he want to throw the ball to before he hiked the ball. But he don't know who going to be open off rip. Like, he don't know as soon as he hiked this ball. Now, everybody, obviously, at times, you know immediately who you're going to go to before. But this ain't what they doing in Miami or in San Fran at times where before the ball is even hiked, he already know. Because of this scheme, because of what our coach called, this dude is supposed to be open, just throw it to him because that's who's going to be. This is not what Jalen Hurts done been doing over his career. Jalen Hurts, if you watch him, you can see the constant development. I just think this is one of those rough years. He didn't have that sophomore slump that people say. He just ended up, and I'm telling you, I really think he is hurt, like injured. He just played through something, and we just not going to find out unless it get leaked. But Jalen Hurts is 100% better than Tua. Tua to me is not even, and this is crazy, but he's not even in a space to develop as a better player. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but Mike McDaniels is such a good offensive play caller and game planner that why would you ruin this by saying, yeah, Tua, just go out there and drop back and make your own decisions? Nah, if you can limit that, you're going to limit that as much as humanly possible. And that to me is not the same as saying Jalen Hurts, we don't want him throwing the ball 30 times a game if we can prevent it. That's not the same as saying we don't want Tua to drop back and make decisions. That's saying the offense is great when Jalen Hurts make decisions, but we don't want him to have to throw the ball 30 times. We want to be able to have some type of balance because as great as we think he is, he's still not Patrick Mahomes as far as like dropping back, making decisions. You know what I'm saying? He's not Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. You don't want certain quarterbacks, if it's as great as they are, you don't want them to have to drop back and throw the ball 30 plus times a game. Shit, Pat Mahomes don't want to drop back and throw the ball that much if he don't have to. But, well, this year, when he got the weaponry, every quarterback want to throw the ball 30 plus times a game. However, when you have to rely on talent and mostly your talent in the scheme because you probably don't have the superior talent, whether it be for a season or against a certain opponent, I think you think that way. But I just think personally, Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback than Tua. And I believe that Jalen Hurts is like the second best quarterback in the in the NFC. Lord Jesus. Because I would take him over Dak. Dak to me is, I'm not getting into this Dak conversation. But like I said, right now, it don't really matter. I could see Jalen Hurts developing into I could see him getting closer to Pat Mahomes and the boys. Then I could see him falling off down to the Brock Purdy level that people want to say Brock is at. Even though I think Brock is just as good as Dak Prescott at this point, especially depending on what he do this weekend. But in my opinion, Jordan Love is the best quarterback in it. As a matter of fact, the second best quarterback in the AFC, in the NFC, and some might even think it's the first, is that boy Matthew Stafford. But in my opinion, the best quarterback, at least the best young quarterback in the NFC, because I'm going to give Matthew Stafford his respect, but I'm taking Jordan Love. There's no doubt about it, which is, it's going to be interesting when I get to that game. But these Saturday games, we here to break down the Saturday games, because I'm going to do the Sunday games on a different show. But you got Houston headed into Baltimore for a 30 game. I'm taking Baltimore. Listen, this is, I understand I'm a Baltimore fan, so you knew who I was picking anyways. That rule has never not been like, we done been consistent on that all year. But I always tell you why I do truly believe why we gonna win this game. Now, as good as I think Houston is, I just think they really do come into a game outmatched. And I think some people don't realize that at times. Like, when you think of a team as being outmatched, when I think of being outmatched, I think of if this team play as good as they can possibly play, like if they bring their A game, I was reading something, that's what made me pause. I said, when I think of outmatched, when the better team, if they play a perfect game, or if they, not even perfect game, if they bring their A game, more times than not, they're going to probably win this game by a comfortable margin. That's what I believe, because they have the talent, they have the scheme, they have the coaching, they have the they have players playing at the higher level. That's what I think of when I see the Ravens in Houston. I think if the Ravens bring their A game, Houston can't win this game even if they bring theirs. And the biggest reason for that is I don't believe, as much as I like CJ Stroud, I don't think CJ Stroud better than Lamar Jackson. Now, he can prove me wrong in this game and outplay Lamar, because I don't think Lamar has an excuse. Now, you're going to see me be very critical of Lamar Jackson if he loses this game, because you coming into this game, you're going to win your second MVP. I think you far better in this game than you have been. I mean, you far better this year than you were in your unanimous MVP season, which is wild to say because only 2 unanimous MVPs exist. But I just think that this year he is such a far better. He is more experienced. The football IQ is through the roof now. Like, he looked like a player who don't have to just rely on athleticism, but when he can go out there and still show you that it's, I got this in the back pocket. It just, to me, Lamar Jackson is becoming unguardable. You are seeing him enter his prime, bro, where Pat Mahomes was hurt and before he started the limp, he killing you through the air. Well, now he done took a hit, so now he limping, but the man still use his feet when it matters. So Pat Mahomes, and then when you take his feet and his legs away, he beat you with his mind. Like, to me, that's what you starting to see from Lamar Jackson. When teams call the perfect scheme, he can still find a way to beat you with his legs. When you don't call the perfect scheme, he gonna beat you with his arm. He can extend the play. Like, to me, Lamar Jackson is just entering his prime. He done always been him, but that development of IQ mixed with, when you start to get to the point where you could put your athleticism on the back burner because you can beat teams with your mind now, like, you could just sit back in the pocket and dissect them, or you can choose to run around and do, like, when you can beat teams in a multitude of ways because of where you done got to. And that's why I said every year Lamar Jackson was developing something. He got better. You could visibly see he got better at something every year. And now he becoming damn near unguardable and damn near impossible to coach against because you just don't know what he's going to do. To me, he done become a bigger version of the quarterback who got so many weapons, you just don't know how to defend it. So, man, it's hard to defend Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. That's tough. To me, Lamar Jackson is now embodying that. Because of how great he is, he like the Infinity Gauntlet. He is such a multifaceted, and that go for Pat Mahomes too. They such multifaceted. They have so many talents within them that makes other people better, and along with them, it's so hard to game plan. Cause like, You say, okay, we got to play the pass game. I mean, but damn it, this man can run too, so we got to defend him. And when we talk about the run game, but damn it, he also one of those dudes who make other guys better throughout by making just the impossible plays. So we got to watch out for this type of thing. And then they get into this, and it's so many different ways, and they can come back on you, and they can do this when it's so many different things you have to worry about when you game plan a Pat Mahomes or Lamar. He ain't got weapons. So what? I'm talking about Pat right now. He still go out and find a way to make it happen. He ain't got weapons throughout his entire career before this year. Talking about Lamar. So what? Still went out there and found a way to be as best as he possibly could. Did he take stumbles along the way along with Pat? Yes, sir. One got 2 Super Bowls, though. The other one don't have but 1 playoff win. That's all right. That don't take away from their greatness. You just appreciate what Pat Mahomes done been, which is why I done told you he the best quarterback in the NFL. Right now, with my own 2 eyes, he and Lamar Jackson, I do not. To me, it'd be so shocking to me if Lamar Jackson does not end up as a top 5 quarterback all time. Pat Mahomes already cemented himself, in my opinion, as a top 5 quarterback all time. To me, he number 2. What's so crazy is if we just going off of talent, it's no quarterback I would take before Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. I just don't think I've ever seen a quarterback as talented as those two. I love Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Them motherfuckers was not the athletes that Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson or that Lamar was. They don't have the arm talent that Pat Mahomes, or in my opinion, Lamar got. They don't have the cannon that Lamar and Pat Mahomes got. And Brady could sling that bitch. But to me, as great as Peyton, because great and Tom are, and Tom the GOAT, but talent wise, I don't know if I've ever seen 2 quarterbacks with the talent of a Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, bro. I really don't. When you just look at everything these 2 dudes can do, and for Pat Mahomes, he got there a little quicker. For Lamar, though, like I said, something was getting better in him every year, and now it feel like and it looked like he done figured out how to put it all together. So I'm very excited for this game. And that's one of the reasons I'm taking the Ravens, because I just think he is entering this level of it is impossible to guard this dude. It's impossible to game. If we decide to defend like this, run the zone, run the man, stack the box, run a bunch of nickels and dime plays, disguise, it don't matter. It feel like this year he done had an answer for everything. And as great as I think CJ Stroud is, I do not think that the Houston Texans defense is the Baltimore Ravens defense. For one, the Texans don't have a Roquan Smith on that side of the ball. They just don't. And I told you how much I like that Houston Texans defense and multiple players in that defense. However, I do believe, I keep seeing people say, oh, this is not the same Texans team. Bro, this is not the same Ravens team. And I'm telling you right now, if you go into this game just telling yourself, we not the same Houston team, you about to get kicked in the mouth. I'm telling you right now, like Lamar Jackson said, I'm ready for whatever. The Baltimore Ravens are the better team with the better quarterback, and they are hot right now. The Texans have to rely on the Baltimore Ravens being rusty. But I just don't feel like it'll last too long. Not to mention, I don't think that the Baltimore Ravens defense is going to be giving up too much in this game. I don't feel like they're giving up more than probably 14 points in this game. I don't think that the Texans will put up 40 plus points like they did against the Browns. I think, and the crowd noise in Baltimore, I just feel like it's going to be a problem. Baltimore is going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be cold. The Texans play in the dome. I don't believe in Lamar Jackson to me. And like I said, if I'm wrong, boy, you're going to hear me talk about it when we come in here. But I don't even feel, I don't feel like, bro, this team feels so different than that 2019 team for a lot of reasons. They have talent now at the other skill positions. They have a bet. To me, this defense is better than that 2019 defense, because that 2019 defense did not have no Roquan Smith on it. It did not have no Kyle Hamilton on it. This is a far superior defense, in my opinion, to that past defense. It didn't have a Jadeveon Clowney on it. That team didn't have a pass rusher, a legitimate pass rusher. This team got a Jadeveon Clowney, a Justin Mata BK. To me, this is a far better defense than that 2019 defense. And I remember the players on that 2019 defense, but nah, this Ravens defense is a way, but bro, I'm taking this defense, and I watched that defense. I'm not taking that 2019 defense over this one. To me, it's not even a debate. Roquan Smith and where Patrick Queen, the Patrick Queen that's on this defense, I don't even know if Patrick Queen was on that defense that year. But nah, that defense don't hold a candle, in my opinion, to this defense that the Ravens have right now. So, to me, I just think this is the Ravens' year, man. If Russ don't kill him, and you really hoping that Russ kill him for the entire game, I just think the Ravens is going to come out and be great in this game. I really do. And for the nighttime game, the Green Bay Packers head to San Francisco. They head into the Bay. All that. Listen. Upset alert. The boy not no hoe. I'm rocking with my gut, bro. Nah, I don't really rock with my gut a lot. I try to still break it down and whatnot. However, bro, let's go ahead and take some risk. I'm taking Green Bay. Now, I understand Green Bay could be out of their league. Green Bay could, be over their scales. Oh, we not Dallas. We can stop the run. Yada, yada, yada. Jordan Love had to be, for one, the Packers been playing playoff football for the last month plus anyways. They done had to win the games they had to win, or they wasn't making the playoffs. So I think that Jordan Love and the Packers done been battle tested over the last couple of weeks. Now, however, I do understand the people who would saying they didn't look at who they had to beat. Well, listen, Jordan Love is still a rookie, in my opinion. Having his first year as a full-time starter. And look at how great he done been down the stretch, considering his first year as a full-time starter and the fact that he done had to win damn near all these games or they wasn't going to make the playoffs. That's basically playing playoff football over the last couple years. Anyways, so I'm rocking with the Packers. I'm going with the Packers. I got nothing but faith. And I understand the pass rush and all this, but it's, like I said, it is a way for the Packers to win. And the Packers don't have to be perfect defensively. They have the better quarterback. I think Jordan Love is going to have a great game. Now, however, the pass rush, if San Francisco has a great pass rush, yes, that will affect this game. And I do believe they'll win if they end up with if the 49ers end up with multiple pressures and get home for multiple sacks, yeah, they'll probably win this game. However, if this become a back and forth, and the Packers have to just get 2 stops, I'm telling you right now, I fully do expect the 49ers to win this game. I'm not going to stunt with you. However, I told you, I don't care. I'm going right now with who I think is the better quarterback. Now, Jordan Love could end up, finally hitting that wall as a rookie and struggling finally. But I don't see it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Now, I do want to say something. Being unbiased and completely I just broke the game down for you. When I look at San Francisco, the reason I said I do see them more than likely winning, but I'm not going to pick them, is because they have the talent. To me, they have the better talent on offense and defense, even though the Packers are not slouches. They have the talent also. But the difference is San Francisco got the better scheme. San Francisco on defensively can flip this game just because they have the better talent defensively. They have the far better linebacker talent. Like linebacking wise, it's not close. Defensive line wise, I don't think it's close either. However, because of that edge, I can see the 49ers and they at home. So I could definitely see it. But I can also see Brock Purdy struggling in this game. So I wouldn't be shocked either way. With that being said, however, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Saint out.
Nobody can do it by himself.
Yeah.
He embodies that. Just real gritty, like, we about to come whoop your ass.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking or something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home.
Without further ado. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bad talks. I put in headphones on my